Have you ever been told you're too much, too passionate, too opinionated, too emotional? Well, today's guest is here to flip that narrative on its head. Because what if everything you've been told is too much is actually your superpower? I'm Jodi Silverman, empowerment speaker, midlife coach, host of Dare On With Jodi, and a self-proclaimed extra personality who refuses to shrink to fit into anybody's box. And if you've ever felt underestimated, overlooked, or like you had to shrink to fit into rooms that were never built for your brilliance, this conversation is your permission slip to take up space. In this episode, I sit down with Jessica Rennard, president of NewSource, an accidental pioneer in the booming resale industry. She's here to talk about owning your voice in competitive spaces, reinventing your career without a traditional plan, and why your biggest too much might just be your greatest gift. And stick around until the end because I've got a confidence boosting freebie waiting for you in the show notes. Let's do this. Hey, Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jodi. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm excited about our conversation. We are seriously going to empower women and give them great tips on how to own their voice and reinvention, resilience, all the fun stuff we talk about here on Dare On With Jodi. So thank you.
Perfect.
So let's start off. I always like to start off with letting my guests say hi to the audience, share a little bit of who you are, and maybe how you came to be doing what it is you're doing.
Sure. Okay, so I am the president of NewSource. NewSource is a micro wholesale mystery box business. So we source inventory from like direct from brands, and also from some of our consignment store partners. We bring it in-house, we curate it, and we flip it back out and sell it to resale entrepreneurs. So people that sell on Poshmark, eBay, and have resale storefronts. The way I got started in that is my first job out of grad school was working for a nonprofit, and I was running their resale boutique. So it was my job to monetize anything that really didn't make it through our sort for women going back into the workforce. And I just kind of quickly became like very enamored with working with, what we would describe as underdog products. So what people clean out of their closet that they no longer want anymore. It was my job to monetize it. And I loved the circularity aspect. I loved that it was this niche that was kind of up and coming, and I really found a place to just kind of dig my feet. And I just quickly became obsessed with the industry. So that's where I started.
Yeah, I mean, resale is huge. It's huge. I
Yeah.
know, especially more so with the younger generation, like my daughter who's 30. They
Mhm.
they went to this past year, they went to Taylor Swift in Canada, and she went with three of her friends. They all rented coats, you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
and then they swapped coats. So I know it's a huge industry, more so than it ever was. Um, so thank you for sharing that. So I want to talk about because you talk a lot about, you've learned a lot about how to own your voice, especially in a competitive industry. So, when did you first realize the importance of using your voice?
Oh my gosh, I felt like I had so much to say from like an opinion standpoint and just passion about the business that I was building and the direction that I thought we could go. And I realized that I kind of was at a disadvantage because I didn't have an MBA. I didn't go through corporate training. Like my parents were not this big Fortune 500 background. And I was like, wow, I really need to learn how to speak with conviction. And I partnered up with an executive coach and just really learned from her. Took a couple of years and a lot of trial and error. And, speaking and someone doesn't listen to you, you're like, maybe I'm going to word that a little differently next time. But yeah, I would say that's where I found my voice or thought
I
it was
love that.
important.
No, I love that you reached out and found somebody who could help you and coach you through it.
Mhm.
When did you notice? Like, do you remember the pivotal point where you noticed a shift in your voice being heard, maybe more?
Yeah, I think so. I would always record myself in meetings, whether it was in person. I don't know if actually you're allowed to do that, but I would just record myself on my phone talking to a potential investor or, someone I was looking to partner with, and I would go home and listen to it and just kind of hyper focus on the filler words or when I sounded timid or when I didn't sound strong. And I think each time I got better and better. I still have a lot to learn for sure. And then I think that I have some people in my network and like mentors that I just really look up to and try to emulate how they carry themselves.
That was really so. I don't know if you're allowed to, so we're not advocating for you to go and record in a
No.
meeting. But it's interesting. I heard somebody. I'm part of the Mainline Chamber of Commerce here in our area. We both live outside of Philadelphia, and there was I can't come up with it right now. The name of this woman, the speaker, and her book, but it was all about what you just said about filler words, passive language versus just saying what you want to say without the fillers and without sounding passive. It's interesting. There is a nuance to that, and it's an education. Like there should be a class on that.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
ever notice too when you take something, you put it into ChatGPT, and I'll write an email and then I'll put it into chat and say, summarize this. And the rewrite is like, oh, of course. I didn't
right.
need to say all these ridiculous words that sound like
I know.
I'm 7 years old. So yeah, there's a lot of learning there.
Yeah. I
When
use chat for that too. I'm like, because I can be way too wordy and
Mhm.
start a sentence with so and it helps you. And when you read it, it makes sense, but you need that help sometimes if you're not used to it. So I
Yeah.
love that you did that. I love that you found the help. So a lot, I think a lot of women not only feel underestimated in certain spaces, especially in business, but I think that story of we don't want to be too much. And it's so funny because I don't think I met one man who ever stops to think, I better not say this because that might be too much. And yet we feel that way. It's a real thing. So what's your advice to a woman and to a woman who's listening right now for advocating for herself without letting go of that feeling like you're too much
I think
mindset?
whatever is too much about you is probably your superpower. Like hands
Mhm.
down, that's signaling to you like that's your thing, that's what you should lean into. Um, and just owning that.
You know what? You say that, and I'm thinking about me. I always thought I was, too much. I'm
Hmm.
extra, but it is my superpower.
Right.
My
Yeah.
energy draws people in. I can say that now. I mean,
Mhm.
I would never have been able to say that out loud. Like, well, who am I to say that? But it does. My energy draws people in. So I like how you said that. If you're thinking something about you is too much, it's probably your superpower. And just lean into it and harness it. I mean, we have to harness our superpowers for good,
Yeah.
right?
Where did that come from? Like, who's the first person that coined, like women are too much? I don't know, but I can't imagine it's validated now.
I don't know. You know, the whole you're too emotional thing too. And I'm going to share something because as we're recording this, it's the 2025 US Open.
Yes.
And for anybody who watched that, Coco Gauff
Hmm.
cried
Yeah.
after a match. And I've always said, women are strong because we cry.
Hmm.
Now, you
Yeah.
don't want to go sobbing everywhere in the world, but because we aren't scared to feel our emotions and let them out sometimes, you have to let them out. Letting out your emotion is what feeds you.
Hmm.
So I don't know who coined the first thing that started to like bring women down, but we're not too much. And I
Yeah.
like how you say you're too much is your superpower, so use
Yeah.
it. I like that. Do
Yeah.
you remember? I love to ask specific questions. Do you remember a specific time when you spoke up and it really did change everything for you? And in what way? And
Um,
in what way, like, did it change something for you?
Yeah, I once read a quote that was relating entrepreneurs to juvenile delinquents and how, a juvenile delinquent hears no, and it's like, oh, actually, yeah, I'm going to go do that. And so I think being an entrepreneur, it's just in your blood to constantly go against the grain. So I think I often found myself like my whole life just speaking up and going against what anyone was saying was status quo. And then taking that into, building a business kind of like against all odds and not having a strategic 12-month plan or anything like that. And um, just constantly being told you're going to fail and speaking up and going against all that.
Were you constantly told? Was that feedback? And because you didn't have the typical business strategic plan, you didn't, so I'm learning this about you. So you didn't have a
Yeah.
strategic plan for your business.
No, I had nothing.
I
I had
love
nothing.
this.
It
I
was
love,
passion. It was all driven by passion. And I think for a long time it was viewed even from family and friends as a hobby. And so because of that, I think it made me really chase the numbers and chase the revenue because I wanted to be able to go home and be like, we did $5 million this year. Like, how do you like me now? And
no,
then
I
I
love that.
then I slowly learned like nobody cares. And why was I trying to chase that recognition from my outside community? And I think when I let go of that, that's when I really was able to scale and just like, horse blinders on, head down, eyes down, and just like hit the pavement. And yeah, I think all that's happened though over the last few years, like just very recently.
So, I mean, who was your biggest fan? I know people were trying to say, oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We always have naysayers. I always say, Jessica, really be careful about who you share your dreams with because you want
Mhm.
to share your dreams with people who hold space, positive space and energy for your dreams. And with that, you want people who will say, challenge you a little bit on them because you don't
Right.
want everyone just to yes you. Say, I love what you're doing. Have you considered this? What did you think about this? And they challenge you, but they're holding space in a really positive, energetic way. Was there somebody or a group of some people that did that for you?
Yeah, it was more so people in the industry, like women further on their career that I really connected with. I started going to a women in retail conference every year, and I kind of found a tribe of women my age, women beyond my years, and just really built a network
Yeah.
in that space. It's funny, my dad, I mean, he's a big fan of me personally, obviously, but my business, for the longest time, he would go tell his friends, on the boat, say that my daughter works for Glad. Because I would always talk to him about all the trash bags of clothing that we would collect, and that my whole business was run off of, collecting trash bags of clothing, sorting it, and selling it. And all he heard was trash bags. So for years, he thought I worked for Glad.
Oh my
Um,
God, that's so funny. I'm sorry, that's really funny.
it's a good story.
Very
Now he knows
funny.
what I do, but yeah, I like to bring that
He
up.
knows what you do now, though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. All right. So I like your story because it started out with your first job. You saw something in the resale um, industry and you followed your passion. So somebody who's sitting here listening right now, who maybe has a passion for something, but isn't sure how to turn it into a career.
Mhm.
What advice would you give her that where to start, like aligning that purpose, moving towards a profession, making
Yeah,
it a thing?
I think asking yourself, what would you do for free? Like when you wake up in the morning, what would you do for free? And I think that is what leads people to their passion. And then whether you start as it's a after 5 o'clock kind of thing. I mean, there's a tipping point from when your passion can become your career.
Right.
Um, And, but I think if I look back on my path, I really tried not to focus on the monetary reward, which was hard for a long time, and just like kept chasing that it was my passion.
Yeah.
And one thing too that I think helps is like when you don't have that line in between work and life, like my life is my work and my work is my life, which is probably not super helpful in some ways. But I think that also just helped me kind of like it became me. And then like the stars finally aligned. But
I like that. I like that. So, what would I do for free is what my passion is, what I love doing, and then how to monetize that. Is
yeah,
that what
and then
you're
you need
saying?
some strategic help,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then I
definitely
think
help.
the next step from that is like, okay, what would I do for free? How am I going to monetize it? And when you think about how to monetize it, it's really just identifying what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then you go outsource your weaknesses and
Okay.
like put yourself in the place of your strengths all
I like to
day.
outsource your weaknesses. I like that. I interviewed another woman for my show, Melissa Davy, who at the age of 60 decided to leave her corporate job, a big job, um, to become a filmmaker. And she had no experience.
Mhm.
And she said what really helped her was number one, that she was 60, that she was wise enough to know and confident enough to know what she didn't know.
I love
So
that.
she was
Yeah.
able to make a list of the types of the where she needed support. So this is what I know how to do. This is what I don't know how to do. Who can help me with the
Hmm.
things I don't know? And you just
Yeah,
said the same thing.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
that's great.
yeah, you have to know what you don't know
Mhm.
in order to really succeed. Because if you're going to try and
Boil
learn
the ocean.
everything
Yeah.
that and learn the skills that aren't your strength, you're wasting your time. Just build your strengths up stronger, and let somebody help you with the weakness side of it. I love that. Great
Yeah,
advice.
that's something my coach told me early on. She's like, Jess, you're smart. If you wanted to go figure out how to enhance your weaknesses, you can do it. But the amount of time and energy and effort it would take would drain all
Yeah.
of your strengths. So is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it drains you, then you can't build anything when you're drained.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So,
Mhm.
okay, before we move into setbacks, because everybody has setbacks, in what ways, Jessica, has living in your true purpose given you power that you didn't expect, whether it's personally or professionally?
Power in what way?
I would say maybe giving you the confidence in an area of your life or in your business that you didn't necessarily expect to have, but through living your purpose and finding your dream and following your passion and making it happen, you realized it.
Yeah, maybe it's ties into owning, like following your passion helps you, I think, find your authentic self and like owning who you are authentically and being able to walk into a room and not chameleon, and really just staying on brand to who you are. And I think as women, we don't gain that confidence until a little bit later. So perhaps being in the business space helped me find that out a little bit earlier on,
And
maybe.
it translates to other areas of our life too.
Yeah.
It translates as moms,
Mhm.
as and in family. Like I can even think it has to translate into your relationships with family. It gives you the confidence to maybe stand firmer in
Yeah.
situations that maybe you normally wouldn't stand up for yourself. I would think
Yeah.
so. I would
Yeah,
think
for
so.
sure.
Yeah,
Interpersonal relationships, that's a good one.
absolutely. Yeah. All right. So setbacks. Come on, Jessica. Setbacks are just part of everybody's story. We all have them. Can you share one of yours and how you were able to bounce back stronger?
Yeah. Would say one of the first big ones was we launched the business right before COVID. And so we had this initial like pop and high of success in the beginning of COVID and through COVID. And the company was built within another business that like my team and I were working for. And that business went out of business while we were all there. And I felt very attached to my team, and I had this like motherly instinct that I was not leaving and going anywhere unless I could take everyone with me. So I found a company called Helpsy, and they ended up bringing my entire team onto their business. So I didn't have to like displace anybody, and we all rebuilt the business within Helpsy. And then that just happened again in November of 2024. So my whole team and I, same group, we went on to a new investor. And so I think what helped us stay the course is that I've always it just invested in people
Yeah.
and trusted in the people around me and stayed focused on that rather than like all the noise that's kind of going on during a setback or failure because it's very distracting and quite humbling.
Oh, I would think so. I love how you kept your team together.
Yeah.
And so you're stronger together. I mean, there's whatever that phrase came from, we're stronger together. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. So setbacks are easier to navigate when you're really clear in who you surround yourself with and bring
Yeah.
along with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also just in that moment, we just lost a huge contract a few months ago that in the moment it's like, oh, that's it. It's over. That's it. We're going down. And then you have to quickly tell yourself that we'll be better, like you'll be better from this in 3 months. Like it's stress testing how strong the business is, how strong the team is every single time there's a setback.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Is there any type of practice, like a mindfulness practice that you do, or is there some type of ritual that helps keep you in a calm state of mind, or is it just something naturally that you're able to tap into in the moment whenever you need it?
Oh, that's funny you use the word calm because I don't really ever feel I'm like way too antsy for calm. Although I do take magnesium glycinate, which
You too, you what?
I take magnesium glycinate,
Okay.
which I read about recently, really helps calm your nervous system.
You
So,
look very calm. And for those of you not watching, we do have YouTube wherever you, I mean, you look very calm and relaxed. So that's why
oh,
I was just curious. Yeah.
okay, I'll plug the magnesium then.
All right,
No, I
magnesium.
don't.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, well, you shared some of your setbacks that you had. So, would you would you consider any of the transitions you had through your whole career through starting a business? Have you had to reinvent? Was there a reinvention? And reinvention takes courage. I mean, I would call that like a daring moment. Like when could you name like a daring moment that you've had to make in
Yeah,
your life and business?
I think it's when um like when we have plateaued from a revenue standpoint or growth standpoint, and it's like, man, we use this term internally, like we're stuck in $5 million jail. How do we get out of $5 million jail? And often the answer is like, take the rug out from underneath,
Ooh.
which maybe if I had gotten my MBA, I would have learned there's a better path in doing that. But it's just kind of how we've always been like, well, flip the table today, let's see what happens. And we're learning to be more strategic, but for sure, um, I think like you get even in business, you get stuck in a rut and the
Yeah,
systems don't change and the things don't change. The positive and sometimes the negative, like I've had the same team too. So
right.
right, our brains are the same brains and we're getting smarter every day, but the team has to really come together and talk about like think outside the box and what changes do we need to make to really take this thing to the next level. So we're always constantly trying to push the envelope as much as we can.
So it sounds like your team, you've trained each other to, flip the table, rip the Band-Aid off,
Yeah.
pull the rug out. I love that though. Sometimes you have to just do it to go, but that takes courage. That's it. That's a daring moment. It's because you can't get caught up in the what ifs. You can't
Mhm.
let your mindset go to the what ifs because if you're stuck and plateaued, you can either stay there or have your, flip the table
Yeah.
moment. I
And
like
you
that.
also have to be financially or
Well,
have the financial backing to be able to make certain kind of mistakes,
yeah.
which we've learned the hard way too. So
Yeah. This is hard. There's a lot of good stuff here. Okay, so for somebody who's listening right now who feels like they've missed their moment, because our audience, a lot of our audience, there's three types of women who listen to our show, Jessica. We have, the woman who has a career and yet is not finding it fulfilling, so wants to start
mhm.
her next job, next career. The woman who walked away from working outside of the home all these years and is ready for something more. Really, those are the two. Those are the two. So, and then you have, but so many of them feel like, well, I've missed my moment. I've been doing X, I've been a lawyer for 35 years. How could I possibly turn it around and do something different? Or I've been out of the workforce. So, what would you say to somebody who's thinking, I missed the moment?
That's really interesting. I think that that moment served a purpose. So, like, my sister is kind of in the same boat right now, and I'm in a place in my life where I've been able to be an entrepreneur and kind of ride the highs and lows. I've always loved like high risk, high reward. Not everyone's built for that, and not
No.
everyone's built for that at all different points in their life. So for the person that was a lawyer for 35 years, maybe that served as particular purpose for her home life, financially, for her
Right.
kids' school schedule. And it's like, first of all, who's telling you that you missed the moment? Like, where is that coming from? Who's saying
Right.
that?
Right.
And you didn't. So like it's just about, I think, aligning passion with purpose and maybe timing. Um, but yeah, no one's telling you that you missed the moment.
No, it's the same voice inside your head
Yeah.
that's telling you you're too much. The
Yeah.
same as that voice. And I can tell you, I am at this time of this recording, I'm 59 years old and I'm still reinventing myself and I'm still doing new and
Yeah.
fun things. I'm still pushing it. So,
Well, and
no,
the people on the other side too, like I feel like I've always been a little bit at an advantage because when someone says, "What do you do for a living?" I haven't been able to say doctor, lawyer, teacher, dentist. It's like, well, how long do you have? And I don't know, there's I guess the grass isn't always greener, right? There's people sitting on the other side of the fence who didn't have that stability, didn't have that
Right.
tenured career, who maybe are craving that too. So it's also maybe a little bit of gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely gratitude. Absolutely. But no, we haven't missed the moment. It's figure out again what Jessica said earlier, figure out what is something you would enjoy doing, you would do it for free.
Mhm.
And that's your first indication. Oh, this might be something that I could turn into something even bigger for myself,
Yeah.
more meaningful, more fulfilling, whichever it
Yeah.
is for you. Yeah, I love that. All right. So I have two questions I like to end our show with. One is a dare for the audience. And a dare is just something, I don't know, something we want them to take action on, step out of their comfort zone and try. Do you have a dare for
Yeah.
the audience? Okay.
Send 5 people on LinkedIn a request for a virtual coffee.
Oh, I'm going to take that dare.
5.
That's a good
Anybody.
one.
And don't hold, like, don't think it has to be a certain kind of person. Just 5 people that you would be dying to have coffee with. Ask them for a virtual coffee.
I love that. I love that. Nobody's ever given that dare before, and I'm going to
Really?
accept it. I love that. That's a great one. All right. And then the other thing is we hear a phrase a lot that's overused, living your best life. Live your best life. I think was it Oprah that coined it with her magazine, Live Your Best Life, Living My Best Life. And I think a lot of people have a different definition for what that is. And I think it's different for everybody. What would you say it looks like to live your best life?
Hmm. Um, when the majority of your buckets, like when you can go to sleep at night and feel like your buckets are fulfilled, the majority of them, they're not all going to be fulfilled, but and then I also think it's okay if they're not, because maybe you're finding a calling, right? Or like you're noticing something needs attention, and that could further lead you to like being able to check the box. Okay, I'm living my best life. But yeah, I don't know if I'm behind that phrase either.
No, I
Um,
like I like to ask each of my guests because it means something different.
yeah,
It's just like dream big. Big is subjective too. Like your dream big is different than my dream big. Like everybody has
right.
their own. So I like to ask that. I think I like what you suggested. If you can go to bed at night saying, okay, not
Like
bad.
I'm fulfilled. And if I'm not fulfilled, what does it take? Like what's not fulfilled, and asking the why,
Yeah.
behind all those things. So
Digging deep into it.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was great. This was great. You
Yeah.
shared a lot. I love what you do. I find it fascinating and really interesting. I'm so happy that you joined me on the show. Is there anything that
Oh
we
yeah,
did not share?
I cold LinkedIn you. I didn't ask you for a coffee, but I did out of nowhere message you
You
on LinkedIn,
did.
and that's how we're here.
You did. That's exactly right. You did. So LinkedIn's great. And if you ask thoughtfully,
Mhm.
people want to meet people who are interested in them.
Yeah,
And
for
they want to
sure.
help other people who are interested in asking thoughtful questions.
Mhm.
So I like that. Reach out to 5 people on LinkedIn who you want to have a virtual coffee with, and have like a really thoughtful question. Do your homework beforehand when you meet with them,
Yeah.
because it'll make it to you just never know. That's a great dare. So
Yeah.
Jessica, thank you so much for joining me.
You? Thank you. This was fun.
All right, remember everybody, whatever you need is in our show notes below. If you want to connect with Jessica, we'll have all the links you need. All right, dare on. Hey, friend, before you go, let me remind you of one thing. That voice inside you, the one with big dreams, bold opinions, and wild ideas, she's not too much. She's you, she's powerful, and she's perfect. Jessica's story is proof that you don't need an MBA, a blueprint, or permission to build something meaningful. You just need to dare to begin. And surround yourself with people who see your potential, even when others don't. If you're feeling fired up from this episode and ready to own your next chapter, leave us a review. And when you let us know you left it, we'll give you a shout out in the Moms Who Dare Facebook group. So be sure and come join us inside. Until next time, dare on.